Dear students, my name is Jordan Simeonov and I would like to present a topic called Toxicity of Obsolete Pesticides. Obsolete pesticides are formed when the manufacturer's expiration date has passed, when the material is left over after the pest problem has been resolved, when the material was purchased in excess quantities, when the material is banned because of environmental or public health reasons, when the material causes an unacceptable hazard to human health or to the environment, when the material has undergone an unacceptable loss of biological efficiency because of degradation of its active ingredient and because of chemical or physical changes. The distribution and accumulation of obsolete pesticides in the environmental media creates a threat to human health and to the environment locally, regionally, and globally. When located near water resources, obsolete pesticides can pose a high risk contaminating drinking water sources as well as irrigation water. Leaking of stockpile of obsolete pesticides can contaminate a significant land area, making it unfit for human habitation or for any agricultural activities. The dangers of exposure to obsolete pesticides in brief are fatigue, skin irritations, nausea, vomiting, breathing problems, liver and kidney damage, reproductive damage, blood disorders, cancer and death. This is the title page for presentations of the Erasmus project Toxoer, Learning Toxicology through Open Educational Resources. And now let us go back on the topic and include some more details. Obsolete pesticides are stocked pesticides that can no longer be used for their intended purpose and therefore require disposal. Obsolete pesticide stockpiles are an international environmental issue and its management needs to be given a global attention. In the developing countries and in many Central and Eastern European countries, there are huge stockpiles of pesticides. More than 500,000 tons of obsolete pesticides are accumulated globally, mostly persistent organic pollutants, or POPs. Obsolete pesticides are placed mostly at 10,000 locations of the former Soviet Union, the Southern Balkans, and new European Union member states. According to FAO, the highest amounts of obsolete pesticides in Eastern Europe are placed in the Russian Federation, Macedonia, Ukraine and Belarus. Big amounts of obsolete pesticides are placed also in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America and the Caribbean area. Here's a photo of a huge stockpile of obsolete pesticides. A pesticide product is considered deteriorated when the manufacturer's expiration date has passed, the material is left over after the pest problem has been resolved, the material was purchased in excess quantities, the material is banned because of environmental or public health reasons, the material causes an unacceptable hazard to human health or the environment, the material has undergone an unacceptable loss of biological efficacy because of degradation of its active ingredient and other chemical or physical changes. Here is a curious photo of police officers who detain a ship full of obsolete pesticides. Strategies to reduce human and environmental exposure require more than isolated exposure assessment. It is not possible to standardize how to eliminate obsolete pesticide stockpiles, so a side-by-side approach is needed. Strategies depend on the local environmental condition and diversity in the techniques that may be applicable for particular sites at different countries. There are 4 basic steps that should work as a start to the obsolete pesticides safe containment and removal process. Environmental properties of some important pesticides. What are the dangers from obsolete pesticide exposure? Here are in ascending order: fatigue, skin irritations, nausea, vomiting, breathing problems, liver and kidney damage, reproductive damage, cancer, and death. Management of obsolete pesticides. At first, an inventory is required, followed by risk characterization, site stabilization, and finally disposal. The inventory will allow to determine which products should be categorized as obsolete pesticides. The risk derived by obsolete pesticide stockpiles is a combination of the toxicity or hazard of the product and the exposure assessment. The site stabilization has the purpose to decrease the environmental contamination, reducing both risks and accidents. The safe disposal is the solution for products that cannot be used for their intended purpose or be reformulated to become viable again. At the end of the presentation is the closing page of the Toxor project, where you can see the logos of the participating educational institutions from 7 European countries.